You're watching NBC 10, live at Issue.
Back with Philadelphia Mayor-elect Michael Nutter. We were talking about the governor going on Tuesday to the House Judiciary Committee and basically pleading with them to make a decision. Now, because they won't even vote on the thing, on the record.
Well, these are the kinds of matters. I mean, people should just vote. You know, whatever your thought is, wherever your conscience is, it's just like when I was in city council. Just vote. And if you're on the wrong side of the issue, then let your constituents know where you are.
You could say he's falling on his sword on Tuesday. He's actually stepping out there and doing something governors don't have to do. They don't have to risk embarrassment like that in some people's eyes. What would you do? Have you looked at other things that are out there that you think, you know what, I'm going to have to, when I'm mayor, step out and say, don't do this, do this?
Well, yes.
What is
the short answer is, I mean, one is talking to people about cleaning up this city. Another is talking to parents about how they engage with their kids, or in some cases don't engage with their kids. I mean, you know, some of these items you raise, and people say, well, why are you talking about that? Well, because they're important issues, and no one is saying anything, and everyone has a thought in the back of their mind, I wish someone would say something about it. At the Franklin Institute the other night and a couple other places, I've said, you know, when you go out in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening or whatever, you know, just say hello to somebody. I mean, it's a common daily interaction that we have with each other that brings about some greater level of civility in this city. Is it going to, you know, solve the next murder? Not necessarily. But there is something about our human engagement that I think is causing some of the problems we're having.
Well, let me ask you about that, too, because C. Dolores Tucker, the late C. Dolores Tucker, is one of these people that was criticized, particularly later in her life, for comments she made about rap music, for example, or certain types of rap music. And there are video games out there now, Grand Theft Auto comes to mind, where the player can shoot a police officer.
One of the worst.
And yet we sell these games.
Yeah.
It's controversial, but would you stand up and say, parents, don't buy that game, take it away from your kid, or would you say, would you even try to go so far as to ban the sale of it?
Yeah, I think banning gets you into takes you into a place where you end up in that hole and you can't ever get out of it. I think it is more than reasonable, though, to have a conversation to say, parents, one, are you looking at these games beyond what's on the cover? I mean, are you sitting there with your kid while he or she is playing them to see exactly what's going on? That's not unreasonable to do. And I think it's okay even for the mayor to speak out on these kinds of issues. Why do we have, and I'm not picking on the agency, but, you know, there's an advertisement for some movie coming up where there's a guy with a huge weapon on the side of a SEPTA bus. I mean, this is a public agency. I don't even know what the movie is about, but it, again, glorifies weapons, violence, and all this other kind of stuff. Public agencies should not participate in the glorification of that kind of behavior and activity.
In the film office, do you think you should get that involved and say, look, let's figure out how you're actually going to, what imagery you're going to have that could be negative like that before you say yes to a director?
Look, you know, I'm not Jonathan Demme or M. Night. I'm not going to get into the details of, you know, what's in a movie, but I think the ways that, I mean, I did talk at the Franklin Institute the other night about identity, and one of the identifiers is how the city is portrayed in film or on TV. And so I think it's something that we need to take into consideration as we look at how does Philadelphia look and what are the messages that we're sending out on a daily basis.
Robert Dubow, who we saw right at the beginning of the program in a brief VO, is going to be your finance director. Virtually nobody knows more about the budget than he does, so between the two of you, you should have a 5-year plan done by Tuesday?
Give us a Wednesday.
Okay. And so, I mean, basically, you guys probably have talked a lot. I mean, do you know where you can cut? You don't have to. Are you going to have to wait till the next budget cycle before you can actually make some big moves, or can you start finding money in January?
Well, I think we can certainly start finding money before January. I mean, we're coming close to the middle of the current budget, but certainly after January 7th, we'll be in a position to take some action. We have had a lot of conversation recently. I mean, he was just appointed or announced last week. But Rob, he knows where the money is with his experience, and I've, of course, been paying attention to the city budget for a long time as well. We have to get a good handle on our current finances, and as we look forward to 4 municipal union contract negotiations, a pension fund that is severely underfunded, healthcare costs going through the roof. We have serious financial circumstances that we have to come to grips with, and also explain to the public why we are where we are.
All right, when we come back, I want to talk about affordable housing and about arts involvement as well and other issues when we continue on Live at Issue. Stay tuned.